Alright, yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard, doing another morning drive-in video. There will not be any video to be seen, although we are recording this in video format. This is my drive-in. So, all of our drive to work conversations will ultimately be switched over to the membership forum once they're uploaded. So if you guys are hearing this for the first time, you want to have the replay, you need to be one of our members, which is a very sparse, I think $4.99 for the month. Lots of great content over there. 5 exclusive drops each month, exclusive content. So that's the pitch for that. Today we're going to be talking about search, seizure, and control in a loss prevention capacity. For those of you that don't know, I work security for a retail establishment. Our primary job is control and violence response to any staff or customers that might be in the location. And we also work as cover officers when loss prevention makes detainments. Now, talking about detainments, and remember, my conversations that I have with you guys comes from the perspective of someone who lives and works in Portland. If you are from another state, from another city, where you still have some sort of law and order, number one, congratulations. I'm extremely jealous. Number two, a lot of the information that I share with you guys, it might not be applicable because that might not be your reality. So just understand that when you're listening to the information that I'm sharing it from my perspective and from my reality. Now, I will say that no matter where you live in this country, the views that I share with you guys about private security, even though they might not be applicable to what it's like in your area, it is, in my opinion, the best information for you in terms of keeping yourself out of trouble. It is very rare that you will ever hear me tell you to do something that is going to put you in a position of liability or put you in a position where you can find yourself being arrested or civilly sued. Now, I am not an attorney, but I have a lot of common sense, and I take this profession extremely serious. And I do not do things that I don't have to do to put myself in a situation that I don't have to be in. So that is the disclaimer. Now, if we make a detention, if the loss prevention officers at our location make a stop, they make that detention, which is essentially a shopkeeper's arrest. The question that I've been given is, do we handcuff these people? And in general, the answer is no. If you're going to be handcuffing someone, you have to remember that you are putting yourself in a situation where the potential for that encounter to go even further south, it increases, right? For there to be some sort of negative situation, for someone to get hurt here in Portland, for that to be videotaped and to hit social media, there's a lot of outside factors that lead us to not make a detention at that moment and place handcuffs on people. Now, that used to be the policy. It was even the policy when I first started about 4 years ago. That is not the policy now. So when we make that initial stop, they make that arrest, they make every effort to get that person back upstairs into the office without having to physically restrain them. Now, if that person is being detained under shopkeeper's privilege, the loss prevention officers have all of the information and the elements to unequivocally know that this person has done something that's led to this level, and they make that stop and that person were to become violent, then the option opens itself for that person to be handcuffed for the safety of the officer, the person, and the loss prevention officer, okay? But again, that is very rare cases. Now, the reason why that's very rare, and the reason why we tend to not want to go down that road, is because the response from the police department is extremely slow. And when I say extremely slow in terms of loss prevention, it might be non-existent. I don't want to say that to make it seem as though I'm being negative about the police department. When I talk about the issues with the Portland Police Department here, I don't say that from a position of being negative or critical. I'm just being honest. It is what it is, right? So from the store standpoint, they don't want the liability of us making that apprehension or making that detention and then having this person in a confined space. Each one of you, regardless of where you work, if you're working in a similar situation that I'm in, there's going to be store policy from the corporate level in terms of how long someone can be in that position of detainment. There's also protocol in terms of if that person says, hey, look, I want to leave, I don't feel comfortable in this situation, I want to be, I want to be released. There's protocol and written policy in terms of how long they can hold someone in that situation. So I say all that to say that when I was listening to another podcast yesterday on this very topic, the question came up on whether or not when you have someone in that detention, should the security officer search that person? My answer to that question is absolutely not. There is a huge difference between a pat down for safety, which as a security guard, security officer, in the capacity of a cover officer working in the retail space, you have every right, if that detention has been made, right? You have every right to do a pat down or to visually check to make sure that you and the people that you're working with are not in any sort of danger. But you do not have any authority as a security guard to do a search of that person's personal effects, a search of that person's bags, any of that in the security capacity. Now, does the loss prevention officer? Maybe. And that's something that's going to be their policies between those officers and their corporate entity. But remember, if you're working security, 99.9% of the time, you guys are working in a third-party capacity, right? So I'm just going to throw a name out there. This is not who I work for, but if Walmart hires private security, Walmart has their corporate policies for their in-house security, which would be loss prevention, right? And then they have a contractual agreement with the third-party company, which would be the company that I work for, that provides secondary security. As a secondary security officer, you have no legal authority to search that person's belongings, even if they are in a detainment. Hang on a second, I gotta turn my defroster on. Give me 1 second here. One second, there we go. All right. Even if they've been detained, I feel like we're getting repetitive on every video. We're not police officers. We do not have the authority to open up someone's personal belongings and search their belongings. You don't have the authority to go into someone's pockets and turn their pockets out. You don't. Under any circumstances as a security guard, you don't. A person's Fourth Amendment their Fourth Amendment rights does not stop at the door of a loss prevention office. And if you guys as security guards turn someone's pockets out and clear someone's bag, you are highly potentially violating someone's Fourth Amendment right. Now, as a staunch constitutionalist who fights as hard as I can for the Second Amendment, I have to also be aware of every other amendment under the Bill of Rights. We can't have it both ways, guys. We can't be Second Amendment advocates while teaching or sharing information with each other where we should be violating someone's Fourth Amendment. That is not the role or the scope of security. I can't think of any situation where a third-party security company that's working for a corporate retailer as a loss prevention backup, which is what we are. Our main job across the board in that capacity is to protect the loss prevention officers and to protect the clients and the customers. And no matter what gear we're wearing, no matter what we're doing, no matter like how we're carrying ourselves, we're not law enforcement officers. And guys, I am telling you, every single year, the threat of civil lawsuit to individual officers continues to increase. I can tell you stories right now. I can't. Legally, I can't. But I can tell you stories right now of the financial situations that officers have put themselves, have put our company, have put the retailer in by doing things that are absolutely out of bounds for security guards. You have no legal authority to search a person's physical person or their belongings. You do have the authority to do a visual to make sure that they don't have weapons. You might, based on the policy of your company and the post orders, you might have the authority to do a physical pat down. But I would caution you guys of doing a physical pat down if you've never been trained, you've never been certified, and there is not a written record that you have been trained, certified, and it's within the scope of your policies. Because if you don't, then what do you have record of? You physically touching someone in a private room, most likely without their consent. And that is not a position that any of us need to be in, guys. And we haven't even gotten into the aspect of, should you be physically doing a pat down male officer to female subject? It's out of control. I feel like I'm having the same conversation about every single topic. It's not within the scope of our work, guys. We need police officers. We need them. The city needs them. The country needs them. We need great police officers. If you want to be a cop, go and be a cop. Go be a reserve cop. I'm all for it. Guys, I am all for police officers. Go and be a cop. But if you do cop shit as a security guard, you are going to get yourself jammed the fuck up. The vast majority of retail establishments are not making detainments. They're not handcuffing. They're not confining. Most are doing catch and release, get the product back, let these people get out of the store. Because that is the easiest way to not be in a situation where civilly you're accepting all of this liability when from the state level and in the municipal level, they're not doing their job. Guys, it's one big wheel. It's one huge chain. Your governor, your municipal or your county district attorney, your mayor, your city council, all of those people are links in the chain. And absent one link in the chain, the entire thing falls apart. So here in Portland, our district attorney has said, I will not prosecute people that are homeless. I'm not going to, allegedly, let's just say that. I'm not going to prosecute people that are homeless. I'm not going to prosecute people that I think that are, oppressed or have a systemic issue with society. I'm not going to prosecute people that have drug issues. Well, those are the people that shoplift. Those are the people that come into our location and cause problems. So if he's already made it clear that they are in the special group that will not be prosecuted, then the police aren't going to take the responsibility to come and do anything. The sheriff's department is not going to put them in the jail. So all of the responsibility falls on the individual store to do something to curb this issue, and they're not going to take that responsibility. And the company that you and the company that I work for, they're not going to take that liability either. So the answer is, to the best of your ability, get the stuff back and get the person out of the store before they do something egregious and shoot somebody or stab somebody or put you in a position where you shoot or harm them. Simple. Now, all of us can hate that. And we can all say that that's not right. We can all say that that's not the way a society should work. We should say that, you know, as a security guard, I just can't sit by and let that happen and that be a part of the way things are, and I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to stand for it. I got morals. Okay, well, that's not the way the world works, guys. The world does not work on the morals according to Damien. The world does not work on the morals according to whoever's listening to this podcast right now. It works based on the people that are in power. I am not in power. You are not in power. And these decisions are way above us. I get it. It's frustrating. I don't think that the way that Portland operates, or the way that the homeless community or the drug addicted community or the criminal element of Portland, the way that it operates with impunity, I don't agree with that either. I think it is wrong. I think that it is absolutely unacceptable the way that things are here. But that's the way that things are here. Guys, we can work and we can do our absolute best to do our part. What is our part? Protect the people that are there. You're not useless. That store has an entire staff of people whose family and friends love them and want to see them at the end of the day. Protect them. Those loss prevention officers that you're covering, that you're working with, you have a job. Protect those loss prevention officers. Do everything that you can to make sure that they don't get harmed and they go home. Do your absolute best to keep as many of these bad people from hurting or harming or harassing the customers as you can. That is noble work, guys. But don't make it more than what it is. You should not be trying to handcuff people, and you definitely should not be searching people. Okay? I can't make it any more plain than that, guys. All right. For those of you who are working today, please be safe. Remember, please comment on these videos as quickly as you can. And as we go further into 2024, please share with other guards this channel. Okay? The goal is to hit 10,000. We want to hit 10,000 because at 10,000, we can have a very, very, very broad reach. And we need to reach these security guards. We need to get this message out to people in 2024. Okay? You guys be safe today. Take care of yourself. Make good choices. Don't do stupid shit because people tell you to. Okay? You guys gonna get yourself fucked up in the game. I don't want that. All right. I'm heading into work. Y'all be good.